Hello, my name is Jonathan Gilman and I work for the UN Environment Program, and I'm part of the UN country team in the Philippines. World Environment Day on the 5th of June is the largest global platform for environmental public outreach and is celebrated by millions of people across the world. This year's theme is ecosystem restoration under the slogan Reimagine, Recreate, Restore, and aims to connect thousands of initiatives on the ground and accelerate political action for the protection and restoration of ecosystems. It's also very welcome that in the Philippines, the whole month of June is observed as Environment Month by virtue of a proclamation by former President Aquino in 1988. I know that last year there were some very productive and innovative events in the Philippines during the Environment Month, including a Sing for the Earth jam session, an environmental comic hero design contest, and a government-organized online Green Viro games with trivia quizzes, crossword puzzles, word search, and bingo. And I'm sure this year's World Environment Day and Month will be equally imaginative. This year's theme is particularly important for the Philippines, as you are one of the 18 megabiodiverse countries in the world. These megadiverse countries contain 2/3 of the Earth's biodiversity and between 70 and 80% of the world's plant and animal species. The Philippines ranks 5th in the number of plant species and maintains 5% of the world's total flora. The Philippines is also one of the world's biodiversity hotspots with at least 700 threatened species. Thus, you are one of the top global conservation and ecosystem restoration areas. Restoring ecosystems in the Philippines means protecting your biodiversity and using ecosystems on land and sea in ways that strengthen natural resources and processes while delivering benefits to people and nature. Restoring ecosystems also means working with partners in the region and globally, and in this regard, UNEP welcomes the leadership shown by the Philippines, not least in supporting and hosting the ASEAN Center of Biodiversity. On our side, the UN system in the Philippines is working through our UN Socioeconomic Peacebuilding Framework for COVID-19 recovery, which was launched last year and runs to the end of next year, 2023. This framework includes supporting the government in addressing systemic barriers to ending deforestation and degradation of natural habitats, including key biodiversity areas. Recent work by the UN, for example, includes supporting the establishment as protected areas of 959,000 hectares. We've been piloting 7 models of community-managed protected areas, engaging with 39 civil society organizations. And the UN has also supported the mainstreaming of agro-biodiversity considerations into legal frameworks and is expanding dynamic conservation practices for the agricultural sector. We also work with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources on climate change adaptation measures in fisheries and agriculture, with specific support to the sardines and small fisheries management planning, as well as on coastal and marine ecosystems restoration. I'd like to end by briefly highlighting that the Philippines, together with the other UN member states in the UN General Assembly, has designated the years 2020 to 2030 as the decade of ecosystem restoration. The goal of the UN decade is to prevent, stop, and reverse the continued degradation and loss of ecosystems. Restoring ecosystems and reviving hundreds of millions of hectares globally is a daunting task, too big for any one organization to carry. The UN decade will therefore create structures and systems allowing everyone, especially local communities, indigenous groups, the youth and women, to make a meaningful contribution to restoration. We very much welcome and look forward to the participation of the government, civil society, and people of the Philippines in this decade of action. Thank you for listening.